Okay, look, he is the former governor of Minnesota, and now Jesse Ventura is hosting the second season of Conspiracy Theory. It's an awesome show, and it's on True TV. He is standing by. He's going to join me live. You never know what he's going to say, never at a loss for words. Jesse Ventura next. Okay, my next guest talked to Joy Behar just hours after her big blow-up with Bill O'Reilly on The View, and he told Joy what he thought about the planned Islamic Cultural Center and mosque planned near the World Trade Center site, the former World Trade Center site in New York. Take a listen.
Yeah. So let me say this about the mosque. Excuse me. The Constitution says they can do it. It ends there. You cannot subject the Constitution to a popularity poll.
All right, in case you don't recognize him, I'm sure everyone does. That's former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura. And Conspiracy Theory, here it is right here. That's the name of his show on True TV, the second season about to start. There he is. He sent it to me. Oh, there he goes, right there. All right, so listen, Governor, you called it a popularity poll. But it's true, though, that most Americans we polled don't want the center built. So should we ignore that?
Yes, we should, because people need to remember the Constitution and the Bill of Rights should be written in stone. You cannot subject them to popularity. They are there to protect unpopular things, like the First Amendment. The First Amendment is to protect unpopular speech simply because popular speech doesn't need to be protected. It's as simple as that. And you can't, you know, bend the Constitution to the blowing winds of whatever polls might say. Otherwise, it's a worthless, useless document, which in many ways they're turning it into that anyway.
Okay, well, listen, what about people who say, you know, these are extraordinary circumstances. What happened on 9/11? So many people died there. And we have to be respectful of especially the families the victims who died there. We should be more respectful of that. And even the president said, you know, I'm not going to comment on the wisdom of it, but they certainly have the right. So, you know.
But what's the problem? I mean, Timothy McVeigh, I assume, was a Christian, and he did an act of terrorism. Would they then remove all Christian churches from around Oklahoma City because it happened to have been a Christian that did it? You know, it's ridiculous. The majority of Muslim people are law-abiding, pacifist people who are not out to kill everybody, but every group of people has extremists. They're outlaws, they're criminals. And you can't lump everybody in to a specific religion. Hey, I have enough trouble with religion anyway. I think religion in its own way is the root of all evil. You notice every war is fought over religion.
Wow, that's a pretty subversive statement, Governor.
I don't care. It's the truth. It isn't subversive. Look at the facts.
Okay, listen, let's go back. Let's go to everybody in the studio is like looking at me going, wow. So listen, let's talk more about this. Bill O'Reilly, here's what he said. He said, Muslims killed us on 9/11. Is that not true? Do you find that not to be the fact?
Well, first of all, I investigate 9/11, and I have a lot of questions about 9/11. And, you know, the government and what they told us about 9/11 is strictly a theory also. What have they proven? I ask you this. We're a country by the rule of law. It's been 9 years now since 9/11. Why hasn't bin Laden been indicted for what he did? And you don't have to have him captured to indict him. That means the government comes forward with their evidence, presents it to a jury of citizens like us. If there's enough evidence, they do an indictment for murder. Why hasn't that been done?
Listen, we're going to talk a little bit more
about... Why hasn't the system been followed?
We're going to talk more about conspiracy theories in your show specifically. I want one more question on this topic, and then we're going to move on. Listen, this was shortly after Joy had the big blow-up. You were there in the studio. What was she like? She was fired up about this.
Well, Joy always gets a little fired up. She's got a great personality. She's much like me. When you bring up a subject that I'm passionate about, I get fired up too because I have an opinion and I'm not afraid to express it. I hope the First Amendment still exists in this country.
All right. Governor, stay with us. Stay right there because we're going to sneak a break in here and we're going to continue this conversation. And when we come back, I want to ask the governor about a story that broke just 2 weeks ago, the revelation that the government deliberately infected people with syphilis. Talk about conspiracy theories. All right, welcome back, everyone. With me is the former governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura. He is the host The True TV series is called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. Governor, let me play a clip from your show real quick.
The Coast Guard is hot on the tail of Jesse Ventura as he attempts to reach Plum Island. Word is out that he's accompanied by Jim McCoy, a Plum Island worker who was fired after he blew the whistle on dangerous safety violations.
Oh, yeah, this Coast Guard most definitely following us. Look at that.
What do they think you're going to do?
We got the Coast Guard behind us. We got these guys there. What the hell? I used to be a governor. What do they think I am, a terrorist?
Okay, Governor, so here's a question. I don't want to give it away because it premieres tonight. You'll have to tell me the time. Did you make it to Plum Island, or did the Coast Guard stop you, if you want to answer that?
Well, first of all, we weren't running from the Coast Guard, and they weren't attempting to follow us, and we didn't want to go on shore in Plum Island. Are you kidding me? What I learned about Plum Island, I wouldn't want to set foot on that place. But no, they just had us under surveillance, and they kept us under surveillance the whole time. You know, that's all it was. Certainly they could have caught us, because any Coast Guard boat can certainly catch a fishing boat. That's what they're out there for. No, we were simply under surveillance by them. And I had no intention of going onto the island. We were just viewing it from the ocean with the whistleblower that I had with me.
So, Governor, I said before the break I was going to ask you about this, because 2 weeks ago the federal government admitted that in the 40s, the United States deliberately infected hundreds of people in Guatemala with sexually transmitted diseases. Does that make the case for you that conspiracy theories are more than just urban myths?
Absolutely. You know, let me quote Albert Einstein, if I may. He said, "A foolish faith in authority is the enemy of the truth." And that's what we have in this country, a foolish faith in authority. Now, here they did what they did down there. They've done tons of things like that. What got me so angry is when I was teaching at Harvard in 2004, McNamara came through and admitted the Gulf of Tonkin incident never happened. Another false flag operation to get us into war, where 58,000 of us died in Vietnam and probably 1.5 million Vietnamese, who knows? But it was all based upon something they made up. What about the black people who they used to infect with syphilis and things like that? People better wake up to the fact that government can be evil. If you don't believe me, go talk to the Germans about it.
That's what you say. Your show asserts a lot that government's involved in most of these conspiracies. But one company, I want to talk to you, if you can quickly answer this, because I want to ask you something after this. One company's name comes up a lot.
Well, when I'm getting involved in these things and the conspiracy starts to build, the name that surfaces all the time, or not all the time, but probably 60 to 70% of the time, is Halliburton. Halliburton is somehow there. Like take the oil spill down in New Orleans. The biggest company in America that cleaned up oil spills was called Boots and Coots out of Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
3 weeks before the oil spill happened, they were bought out by Halliburton. Is that circumstantial or what?
Yeah, and I want to say we didn't contact Halliburton today, so they're not here to defend themselves. Listen, I was going to ask you if you really believe this stuff or it's a living, but I think I know the answer to that, so I don't want you to hit me either. I want to read something that someone said about you really believe this, right? It's not just money for you or a show, correct?
Oh, I don't do this show for money. Are you kidding me? I could retire and go down to Mexico and live the rest of my life fine.
I figured that was going to be your answer.
Another reason, too. My son works on the show also.
All right, listen, real quick, I want to go to Twitter. Someone said, her name is Taisha, she said, "Tell Jesse V, I love him, LOL, subversive and conspiratorial as hell, but he's correct about religious freedom." So that's what people are saying about you. Thank you, Governor. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Don. Always a pleasure, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
All right, thank you, sir.